Human history, as we have been taught, is a slow unfolding. Stone tools, fire, agriculture, the rise of civilizations. But what if that timeline, so meticulously etched into textbooks, is incomplete? What if long before the pyramids, the cities of Mesopotamia, or even the dawn of Homo sapiens as we typically chart them, there existed a civilization so advanced that it wielded technologies that rival or even surpass our own? Imagine a world where the knowledge of splitting the atom was not discovered in the 20th century, but emerged hundreds of thousands of years ago, then vanished into obscurity, leaving behind only enigmatic traces buried beneath millennia of Earth and history. The very notion seems impossible, yet the evidence, or at least the anomalies, compel a closer look. The question itself is a jolt to the imagination. Could human, or post-human, intelligence have once achieved nuclear power 200,000 years ago? To grapple with such an idea, we begin with what is familiar. Think of a modern nuclear facility. Immense energy harnessed from the atom. Processes so precise that even the slightest miscalculation could lead to disaster. A lattice of knowledge passed down through education, observation, and meticulous record-keeping. Now strip away the infrastructure, the written record, and even the societies we associate with technological development. Imagine that this knowledge once existed briefly in a society long erased by time, leaving behind only subtle fingerprints, fused stones, unusual isotopic ratios, or scorched geological formations that defy conventional explanation. The analogy strains against reason, yet it provides a window into possibility. If humanity, or something very like it, possessed such knowledge, the consequences would have been profound, even if the evidence is fragmentary, enigmatic, and largely misunderstood by modern science. If this sparks your curiosity, stay with us, because what follows will explore the boundaries between history, archaeology, and the tantalizing possibility of prehistoric mastery over forces we consider modern discoveries. Evidence comes in strange and often contested forms. Consider the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley, or the vitrified stones found at some ancient fortresses in Europe. The latter, in particular, presents a puzzle. Walls and ramparts subjected to temperatures so high that ordinary fires could not have produced the fusion of stone into glass-like formations. Mainstream explanations often involve natural phenomena, lightning strikes, or intense pyres, yet the precision and uniformity of the vitrification, combined with its occurrence across multiple locations, raises the tantalizing question. Could these be remnants of an advanced energy source, perhaps even controlled nuclear reactions? Then there is isotopic evidence. Certain anomalies in ancient soils and mineral deposits suggest exposure to radiation levels far exceeding natural background, yet there is no clear volcanic or cosmic explanation. Taken individually, each anomaly might be dismissed, but together they form a pattern that hints at experimentation, observation, or technological activity far beyond what conventional history allows. The broader scientific framework reinforces both skepticism and intrigue. Modern nuclear physics, understood and applied in the 20th century, relies on precise measurements, advanced mathematics, and controlled reactions. Achieving a sustainable fission reaction requires not only the right materials, uranium or plutonium, but also knowledge of critical mass, neutron moderation, and containment. Could a society 200,000 years ago have grasped these concepts? Some proponents point to sites such as the natural nuclear reactors at Oklo, in Gabon, where uranium deposits went critical naturally nearly 2 billion years ago. While these were entirely natural phenomena, they demonstrate that nuclear reactions can occur in geological contexts, producing fission products and radiation residues that persist for eons. Could an ancient civilization have harnessed such natural phenomena intentionally, guiding reactions for energy or other purposes? It is a question that borders on the impossible, yet the combination of archaeological, geological, and isotopic evidence invites consideration. Even human evolution provides an unexpected layer of context. Homo sapiens, as a species, emerged roughly 300,000 years ago. Other hominins, such as Homo neanderthalensis and Homo erectus, exhibited intelligence, tool use, and social structures, though conventional narratives suggest they lacked the capacity for advanced technology. Yet intelligence is not linear, nor is technological progression inevitable. What if an ancient branch of humanity, or a civilization we have yet to fully recognize, possessed capabilities that were lost, erased, or forgotten? History is littered with examples of knowledge being lost. Libraries burned, technologies forgotten, entire languages disappearing. The tantalizing possibility is that nuclear knowledge is not entirely new, but a rediscovery of a capability humans, or pre-human civilizations, once wielded only to vanish under the pressure of time, catastrophe, or social upheaval. And as we explore these anomalies, one cannot ignore the cultural and mythological echoes that might point to extraordinary events. Across continents, ancient myths describe fiery destruction, cities burned by strange light, and gods who wielded incomprehensible power. Whether interpreted literally, metaphorically, or as a reflection of natural cataclysms, such stories hint at a collective memory of forces that exceed normal fire, storms, or volcanic activity. Could these narratives, passed down through tens of thousands of years, be distorted memories of an advanced energy technology, perhaps even nuclear in nature? And if so, what does that mean for our understanding of human history, intelligence, and the possibilities of civilizations that came before us? If your mind is already racing at the implications, remain with us, because the next part of our exploration will venture even deeper into the mysteries, the consequences, and the tantalizing evidence that suggests Earth may have known the atom long before modern science. As we delve deeper into the possibility of an ancient nuclear civilization, the scale of the question expands from local anomalies to global phenomena. Imagine a world where knowledge of atomic power was not limited to a single site, but spread across continents, leaving traces that are subtle, enigmatic, and easily misinterpreted. Consider sites where extreme vitrification occurs, not just isolated stones, but massive layers of rock fused together as if exposed to temperatures far exceeding the hottest natural fires. Could these formations be the remnants of early nuclear reactions, carefully controlled or perhaps uncontrolled experiments that reshaped landscapes? The evidence is fragmentary, yet it hints at processes that exceed conventional explanation, inviting the unsettling possibility that humanity, or a predecessor species, may have wielded forces we believe to be modern. And if the thought of civilizations long vanished harnessing such power captivates your imagination, imagine the broader implications and stay with us, because the journey into these mysteries is only beginning. One of the most striking pieces of evidence comes from the Oklo natural nuclear reactors in Gabon. Nearly 2 billion years ago, uranium deposits achieved a self-sustaining fission reaction naturally, producing heat, radiation, and isotopic shifts that persist to this day. While these events were entirely natural, they demonstrate that the conditions for nuclear reactions exist in the geological record, and that isotopic signatures can persist for eons, even when human observation is absent. If an advanced civilization could identify and manipulate such natural processes, they might have harnessed energy in a way that leaves subtle, but detectable, evidence in stone, soil, and isotopic ratios. Imagine a civilization capable of recognizing critical mass in uranium deposits, moderating reactions, and channeling the energy into applications we can only speculate about: lighting, heat, metallurgy, or even weapons of astonishing power. The concept strains credibility, yet the anomalies in ancient rocks, fused sands, and unusual isotopic ratios make it impossible to dismiss outright. Beyond the physical evidence, there is the cultural and mythological record. Across the globe, ancient texts and legends describe catastrophic fire from the sky, cities obliterated in sudden, unimaginable heat, and deities wielding weapons of light that could annihilate whole populations. The Mahabharata speaks of weapons so powerful that mountains were leveled and entire armies reduced to ashes in an instant, while Mesopotamian myths describe divine fire raining from the heavens. Could these stories be distant, distorted memories of nuclear events, catastrophes witnessed by early civilizations or passed down from an earlier society with access to advanced energy. While skeptics argue these are allegorical, the repetition of such motifs across time and space raises the unsettling possibility that memory of atomic power has been encoded in human culture, surviving even as knowledge itself was lost. The implications become even more profound when we consider the timeline. Modern science places the advent of nuclear fission in the 20th century, yet anomalies in the geological and archaeological record suggest processes and materials that could not have occurred without controlled high-energy reactions. Is it possible that an advanced society existed during a period when Homo sapiens were barely emerging, or perhaps before, when other intelligent hominins roamed the earth? Such a society would have had to overcome extraordinary challenges, mastering materials, understanding energy on scales beyond ordinary combustion, and sustaining knowledge across generations, all in a world lacking the written records, metallurgy, and scientific frameworks we rely upon today. And yet, scattered traces, anomalies, and myths hint that something extraordinary may have occurred. If these possibilities excite your curiosity, consider that the next layer of investigation will stretch from Earth's deepest strata to the very edges of what we believe human civilization could have achieved, and subscribe to continue exploring these astonishing questions with us. Even modern physics lends a strange resonance to the idea. Nuclear energy requires precise conditions, a critical mass, neutron moderation, and containment of the reaction. Could early humans, or a precursor species, have discovered methods that align with these principles, perhaps using natural uranium deposits, geological formations, or specific mineral configurations to stabilize reactions? The notion seems implausible, yet it is worth remembering that knowledge can emerge, disappear, and re-emerge across vast spans of time. We may have underestimated the cognitive and technical capacities of our distant ancestors, or of civilizations that predate us entirely. And if such knowledge existed and was lost to catastrophe, climate change, or societal collapse, it might explain the absence of concrete records while leaving subtle traces in isotopes, vitrified rocks, and enigmatic archaeological formations. Finally, consider the consequences of such an ancient civilization. If nuclear power existed 200,000 years ago, even briefly, the societal and ecological impact would have been monumental. Entire landscapes could have been reshaped by uncontrolled reactions, radiation would have left traces in the soil, and myth and memory might carry warnings encoded in legend. Perhaps the great fires described in myths were real events, echoes of energy harnessed long before modern understanding. And perhaps humanity, or the remnants of other intelligent species, witnessed, survived, and gradually lost the knowledge, leaving us with a tantalizing puzzle. Traces of extraordinary power, unexplained phenomena, and a timeline of intelligence far more complex than the one we accept today. The ramifications challenge everything we believe about history, evolution, and the potential of early societies. As we stand on the precipice of this extraordinary possibility, the mind begins to stretch beyond conventional limits. Imagine, for a moment, an Earth where intelligence achieved mastery over the atom hundreds of thousands of years ago, a civilization capable of harnessing energy that modern humans only recently discovered. The sheer scale of such knowledge is staggering. To control nuclear reactions, even briefly, requires insight into forces that can obliterate cities in an instant, yet also illuminate, heat, and transform matter in ways that shape the future of a civilization. If such a society existed, it is almost certain that much of its technology, its wisdom, and perhaps even its culture has been lost to time, leaving only fragments in stone, in isotopic anomalies, in myths that shimmer with echoes of real events. And yet, in contemplating this possibility, we are reminded that human or post-human intelligence is not a linear progression, but a tapestry, with threads lost and rediscovered across the vast expanse of time. If the idea of civilizations rising and falling on such unimaginable scales ignites your curiosity, follow along by subscribing, because the mysteries we explore are only the beginning of what the Earth may hold. Some theorists suggest that these ancient experiments, if they existed, may have been catastrophic. Nuclear energy, uncontrolled or poorly managed, could have caused massive fires, radioactive contamination, and environmental collapse. Could this explain sudden population bottlenecks, unexplained extinctions, or geological anomalies in the distant past? Perhaps humanity, or the species responsible, survived only in isolated pockets, forced to rebuild knowledge from scratch, while the vast archives of advanced science were lost to millennia. In this light, myths describing fiery destruction, gods wielding overwhelming power, or cities obliterated in an instant take on a chilling clarity. They could be the cultural memory of an atomic past, a warning encoded in story because the event itself was too devastating, too incomprehensible to fully record. Beyond catastrophe, consider the philosophical and existential implications. If intelligence could emerge, achieve mastery over nature, and yet vanish, what does that tell us about the fragility of knowledge, the impermanence of civilizations, and the tenuous thread by which understanding passes from generation to generation? Perhaps the Earth itself is a testament not only to life, but to the cyclical rise and fall of intelligence, a record etched in rock, isotope, and legend of what once was possible. And if such mastery existed, it also challenges our assumptions about progress. Technology is not guaranteed to accumulate, knowledge is not eternal, and the modern age may merely be a rediscovery of capabilities humans, or their predecessors, once wielded. The possibilities extend even further. Could the remnants of this ancient energy be hidden in ways we cannot yet detect, waiting to be understood by science? Could the subtle isotopic shifts, fused stones, and anomalous geological formations be clues left by an advanced civilization, intentionally or otherwise, guiding future generations toward understanding? Or perhaps we are witnessing a rare intersection of natural phenomena and human, or pre-human, ingenuity, an almost miraculous convergence that hints at what might be achievable with intelligence and curiosity. Every discovery, every anomaly, every puzzle buried in the Earth's layers becomes a potential doorway into a story far larger than conventional history can explain. And yet, even if this ancient nuclear civilization never existed, the very act of considering it opens the mind to wonder. It reminds us that the Earth is full of mysteries, that our understanding is limited, and that the past may hold secrets we have barely begun to uncover. The pursuit of knowledge, the questioning of assumptions, and the curiosity to explore beyond the accepted timeline are themselves acts of intelligence, echoing the possible ingenuity of those who came before us. Every scientific inquiry, every archaeological dig, every effort to decode the past becomes part of a continuum, linking us to the potential heights of understanding that humans, or beings like humans, might have reached long ago. If this vision of discovery excites you, follow us by subscribing, because the next exploration may reveal truths stranger, more extraordinary, and more illuminating than we can yet imagine. Finally, let us consider the ultimate wonder. The Earth, our home, may be a planet that once witnessed forces beyond imagination, a world where intelligence achieved feats we now associate with modern science, yet which faded into obscurity over hundreds of thousands of years. Whether or not this ancient mastery existed, the question itself inspires awe, curiosity, and humility. It reminds us that intelligence, creativity, and the capacity to shape the world are not guaranteed, but remarkable achievements that may rise, fall, and rise again in cycles we can barely perceive. And in standing at this threshold, between the known and the unknowable, we glimpse a profound truth. The Earth is a stage not only for life, but for possibility itself, a canvas where intelligence, curiosity, and discovery have danced for eons, and where the next revelation could be waiting just beneath the surface. So we peer into the layers of time, through stone, myth, and isotopes, and we are left with both wonder and responsibility. The past may conceal marvels lost, but the future depends on our willingness to explore, to question, and to imagine. The story of Earth, whether as a crucible of natural evolution or as a stage for unimaginable intelligence, is a testament to the endless capacity for discovery. And in embracing that possibility, we are reminded that every act of curiosity, every inquiry into the unknown, becomes part of a continuum stretching across millennia, a continuum that links us not just to the past, but to the potential of intelligence itself, waiting to be understood again and again.